All right. We'll call this regularly scheduled May 11th session of his report into order. And if you will bow with me, I'll start with the invocation. Dear Lord, we come to you today as this group of individuals that are representing the 30,000 people in Boyle County. We ask for your grace and your love to be poured out to us right now. But, dear Lord, we ask, in addition to that, for your wisdom, that we are guided by what you want us to do for Boyle County. Not what we individually want to do, but what you want us to do for Boyle County. So we ask for your grace, for your mercy, for your protection, for your guidance, and your wisdom in all that we're about. We ask that our intentions be pure to help those to further the better the quality of life in Boyle County, and to provide our citizens with the services and the financial support and the programs and policies that make Boyle County a great place to live. So we ask that you be with us today in all that we do. May we do it for your glory and for the improvement of Boyle County. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, if you'll join me with Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'm so glad that Eisenhower put the word God in our pledge.
Yes, yes. I agree. All right. Now we approve the, next on the agenda, approve the prior meeting minutes. And you have those before you.
Move we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion made to approve the minutes by Master Gaines, second by Magic Cullen.
Nope, short.
Short? Okay. Just ear blockage over here. Short. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you for that unanimously. All right.
I appreciate these machines more than me or Tom. They're perfect.
All right, next, we need to approve some bills. Miss Mariah.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay. All right, so the total of bills to be approved for payment is $3,057,309.98. The total of standing orders is $250,618.88.
You have the bills before you.
Move we pay the bills and standing orders as presented.
Second.
All right, motion to pay the bills presented by Magistrate Gaines, seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Questions, comments, or discussions? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mariah.
You want me to send in the next person?
The next person would be Keegan.
Oh, okay.
Keegan for budget.
Well,
Thank
that's
you.
easy.
All right, Keegan, you're up on budget transfers.
No budget transfers this time. We'll do
Okay.
it next time. And cash transfers, we got EMS for $70,000 for operations, and we have the joint jail for $250,000, which we'll pay $177,500 for operations.
That's under cash transfers.
Move we pay the cash transfer as presented.
All right, the motion to pay the cash
Second.
is made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Questions, comments, discussions? All those in favor signify by, for the approval of the cash transfer, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, now, I'll start with the consent calendar, and I'm first, on up in the order. And we have a request through Magistrates Short and Ellis to have a name change that is, recommended by all, to my knowledge, all the inhabitants of this road in western Boyle County in District 2. Roselle Road to name it Rosel-Martin Road, and anybody that would like to address the request, please do so.
Judge, I mentioned this a couple meetings back. When we were at the recent Judges and Magistrates Conference, I went to bed early because I was just off my hip replacement surgery, and at 9:30, the phone rang, and Mr. Roselle, who now lives in Upton, Kentucky with his wife, was calling to say that Magistrate Martin, decades ago, was so kind to him when he was a young boy. He'd call him up and get him out to the farm for a day and pay him $1, $3 a day, and did so many things for Mr. Roselle when he was a young man, now in his 80s, and confirmed this morning by Mike Wilder, that he wanted to share his family's name on the road with the Martin family. Subsequent to that, I've talked with Magistrate Short and Magistrate Sammons. And Magistrate Sammons, tell us about your phone call to the Martin today.
Well, Tom had asked me to call because he knew that I knew the Martins and served with Marsh for several terms. And they're really excited about having their dad represented, or having it in honor of their dad, the way they call it. And he called me back. I thought we were going to meet last week. And he called me back and wanted to know if we'd made the change. And I said, no, we don't meet till this Tuesday. But they're really excited about it. And I'd like to address that $1 a day deal too on Marsh Martin. John will, I can't see John, but I know he's over there somewhere. John will confirm what I'm getting ready to say. As tight as Marsh Martin was, I'd say $1 a day is about all he did pay him. But he was a real nice guy.
Well,
But they're excited about having it changed.
yeah. In addition, when I talked to Mr. Roselle and told him that I would immediately talk to the judge, which I did, and the judge said, make sure you touch base with Duane and with Mike Wilder, which we've all done as recently again this morning with Mike Wilder, and I know that Magistrate Sammons did as well. But Duane had a great idea that when we get that sign for the road, which will probably be a couple months down the road while all the bureaucratic things are put in place, that we have the Roselles come from Upton, which he agreed to on the phone if we were able to consummate this deal. And that they'll come and we'll have a nice ceremony, and probably with the Martins, since they've already.
Absolutely. Out there on the road.
So we could have a nice picture with the judge and with the two families, and make it a real nice ceremony.
Make sure Mr. Short's invited because that's his district.
And I make a motion that we.
I would like to make a comment before you make a motion. Is that all right?
Yeah.
I talked to him yesterday. Ella didn't know anything about this. I talked to her Sunday. She goes to our church. But anyway, I talked to them. They're in agreement to this, which they're fine with it. But in the future, if somebody calls you out of my district or in my district, would you please let them call me, okay? Let them talk to me. I'm the magistrate out there, and give me that privilege, okay? I appreciate what Tom did with this, but if somebody called me from his district, wanted me to do something, I would refer them to him. So
For the record, as soon as I knew about it, I did get in touch with you.
I know, but you should have told him to call me and talk to me about it, because it's in my district. Okay?
Point taken. I make the motion that we agree to the renaming of Roselle Road to Rosel-Martin Road.
I'll second it.
All right, motion made by Magistrate Young, seconded by Magistrate Short. We've had some discussion, now it's time for discussion. Any other comments, discussions, or need to be said? The motion is to approve the name change from Roselle to Rosel-Martin Road. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, I would assume that those who need to know or the change, such as dispatch.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Wilder will take care of that
Okay, he's
for
gonna-
both the post office and for 911 dispatch.
Okay.
He's already made those contacts.
He's already made the
They all
contact.
been contacted.
Good.
Okay. All right, next, we have Miss Trille, and we're gonna have a demonstration that, on the voting machines. See if Trille and Harp folks are ready to come in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Judge.
How's everybody?
Thank you all.
Good.
Good, good to see y'all.
I'm Ross Robertson, I'm Vice President of Sales for Harp Enterprises. Bobby Gantley, he's President. Just gonna come in and do a quick demo for you guys on a new voting machine. This is our Verity voting equipment. It's brand new. We have these on here just to show you that all the setups come with privacy screens. For the demonstration, we're gonna go ahead and take these off. Thank you.
If anybody wants to get back here behind us and see this.
And the reason we're demonstrating is because we're thinking about, we need to be looking at new voting equipment, because what we have, is pretty, ancient, and, we haven't.
Most of us 20+ years old.
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, I was gonna say 2005, about right, and at that time, it was paid for with, federal funds. So the county has really never had to purchase voting equipment, but now, the state that our voting equipment's getting in and parts are not able to be found, we need to look at upgrading and getting new voting equipment. So that's why we're having the demonstration.
And the price of these?
You're
It'll
gonna
be in
get a
the packet.
packet. Don't stroke out on me either.
Everybody wants to know the price.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tell them the price is freedom.
Yeah, freedom to vote.
Oh, my God.
If you look at these, both of them have the same kind of platform, but they do different things. This is a Verity scanner, so it gives you the ability in this county to be all paper, and that's what's required now. So if you're getting new voting equipment in the state of Kentucky, it has to be all paper-based. This uses a thermal printer, so we'll have thermal paper on this, and this is your HAVA device. This is a duo standalone, so anybody that is voting and needs accessibility, they may be blind or physically disabled, they would come up either in a wheelchair or a chair sat here, and they have their tactile wheel. If you're all familiar with your old E-Slate equipment that was in a booth, they incorporated the same design because the ADA community absolutely loves this. It has Braille on it, and it guides them completely through. They can use headphones from it, but you also have the ability to go digital as well up here on the screen.
So it functions just like this one does, in the same capacity, but it also is ADA compliant.
Well, that's partly correct. This gives them the ability to use a 8.5 by 11 plain paper and put this in the device and actually go through and mark a ballot. So people that can't use a plain ballot with an ink pen, they have to use this machine if they have disabilities. The majority of your voters will use plain paper and mark theirs with an ink pen. And then those that have disabilities should put this in over here and actually, I'm gonna run through this for you real quick. So when I hit activate ballot, it's going to instruct the voter how to put this in, or if they have disabilities, they can't see, a poll worker can get this guided in for them.
And then they walk away.
At some point, they have to walk away,
Yeah.
yes.
They get a I vote ticker.
Thank you.
Yep. When I go no skip to straight voting, poll worker can still be involved in this portion, but they are not allowed to be in once they begin voting. And this could be a disabled voter doing this. You got them, it's telling them exactly what to do on the headphones. It instructs them. So once they hit select there, their ballot comes up, they're ready to vote. I'm gonna do a quick, just straight party here. If I go all the way to the end. It lets you review your choices. You can scroll through these and look at all your choices. If you're not happy, you can touch on one. It'll take you right back to the race. You can flip it if you wanted to something different. Then go back to preview. It'll make the change for you. Once you hit print, and say yes, print my ballot.
It'll take twice as long to vote.
It does take longer to vote on this, but you have to remember, majority of the voters are gonna be using plain paper voting. It's quicker. This is only for disabled voters.
Oh, that's only for disabled voters?
Yeah, you don't want your normal public coming over here because you saw the timing of it.
Okay.
We're the only one in the industry that does this. And what I mean, there's a barcode here. All this barcode does is tells you something about the election. It has the date of the election, whether it's a primary or general. But your actual votes, the way you voted, is printed on the paper. This scanner will, when we scan it, actually reads this. We're the only one that does that. Most people, they embed their votes in this barcode, and you scan and it reads the barcode. The reason this is so important is other vendors, the way they do it, you don't know how you voted.
Well, I like that because if there's an audit, you go right to what they voted for without having to scan each barcode.
Absolutely. So when this scans in here, this machine is capable of reading thermal paper or plain paper. Bodies-
Currently, I think our 20-year-olds upside down, right side up.
Yeah,
It
same
doesn't
thing.
matter.
Front, back.
Same way here,
Same-
okay.
same thing.
And then a serious question here.
Yes.
There's nobody in this room less tech savvy than me. How many steps is that one versus the most difficult for a disabled person on this one? How many steps difference?
Well, understand, most voters, when they come in and they're checking in, if they're fine and they don't have a disability, they're gonna get a plain paper, they're gonna walk over to and mark their own ballot
And just put it in.
and just put it in, and that's the fastest way to vote.
Yeah.
So, again, it'll read plain paper.
And a follow-up question to that, or how many steps on this one for the worst impaired individual?
Well, the steps are just going through and marking their ballot on here, okay? The voter, or the poll worker is gonna get them all the way up to the step to put one of these in.
And then being at Kroger yesterday and having to get the young lady to come over to the fast check and back up for me, how difficult, if you're all the way to the point of voting, how difficult, where's the button to say, oops, I wanna start all over again?
Well, in a oops situation, just like plain paper over here, if somebody makes a mistake and overvotes a race over here, will you double mark it? This will spit it out and tell you made a mistake. This one, you're gonna know your mistake by the headphones or by the screen. It's not gonna let you overvote over here. If they did decide they didn't like what they did, we will just spoil that ballot and give them a new blank sheet and let them do it again.
Okay, thank you,
And there'll be a spoiled ballot with that.
thank you.
Now, I overvoted this race, and one thing in particular on this equipment, that the current equipment you don't have, for example, if we had this last election, you had the constitutional amendments that filled the back of the page. Or let's say a city council race here in the county, and that goes to the back of the page. How we program this now, if a voter comes in and they went into their booth and just marked the first page and put it in, we program this machine to kick the ballot back out and say, you've got selections on the back of the page. Doesn't mean you have to vote for them, but it's letting everyone in the county know that, hey, I didn't know that city council race was on the back, and I'm glad, because I wanted to vote for so-and-so.
I like that.
So it automatically is a default that we
We don't
program
have
in
that
to do
now.
that. And you don't have that now, it's the voter's responsibility going forward.
Yeah. So some of the complaints from clerks across the state with the old system, two things. Once in the morning, you're required to print a zero tape. Well, they miss that step, the poll workers do. This new equipment, when you're setting up, it forces you to print a zero tape, so that won't happen anymore. Sometimes they don't print enough tape, so we can program this. The state requires 3 tally tapes at the end. We can program, and it forces 3 tally tapes. It'll just print them.
And the zero tape is crucial because that indicates that there are no votes on that machine when we start on
Yeah.
election morning. So, you know, when you have that zero tape, if there was an audit or something to show, we started this machine with no votes on it.
And just to elaborate a little more on what Bobby, when we designed these, it's now designed that everything's plain English on here. In the old one, they would just spit a ballot out, and a poll worker would have to get involved and tell them what's going on. You overvoted the race or whatever. Now in plain English, it'll come up. You made no choices on the ballot to make changes, pull a sheet, or hit cast ballot. That's always the 2 options. And a poll worker had to explain that to a voter. Now they don't have to, it's right there on the screen. If they wanted to cast this blank ballot, it'll go ahead and hit the button, you'll take it right in. That's always been the choices, but poll workers had to stand there and be involved. Now they don't have to stand and hover around the voters, which is a private voting area.
And just to add on, let me add one other thing. For probably 95, 96% of the voters here in Boyle County, how you all been voting on the current e-scan with the paper ballot, the voters are gonna come right back up. They're probably not even gonna notice. They're gonna see the tub. They may say, well, that looks a little bit different, but they're still gonna fill in right here. We have these landing lights, so people aren't trying to stick their ballot underneath the machine on the side. It goes in, it has guides there, so the ballot isn't skewed when it reads the actual selections. That's a blank ballot, and it goes through. So for most of the voters that we've done in other counties and we've seen, they really didn't even know they had new equipment because it was still the same paper ballot and the same type of scanners.
So they mark the paper ballot and then stick it in there.
And scan it in.
Yeah.
This is for, as Ross said, the disability, anyone with any type of disability to use that.
And
And
we're
that's by
looking-
federal law that we have to do that.
We're looking at 10 of these disability machines, is that right?
10 of these and
Or-
20 of these, that will cover your proposed new way of voting, which is,
Previously.
This is courthouse and the super center concept that we were talking about?
Yes, now what and what the judge is speaking of is that we are looking at doing super centers which involve magistrate districts. So there would be one voting location within a magistrate district. And there would be 2 machines per voting location. And,
2 of each?
no, you'll have one of these.
yeah.
You only need one for the disability, but you'll have 2 of these.
That's the 20 versus 10, yeah.
Yeah, because
Right.
the majority of your voters are gonna be here.
Won't that slow things down to what it normally is, because we've had, like in my precinct, we had 4 or 6. And they're walking up and they're going precinct.
Well, no, they didn't have 4 or 6 machines, they had stands, they had the
Yeah.
voting stand. We'll
Right.
still have voting stands, but we'll have an additional e-scan in each location, so we'll
Should
actually
go
have an
quicker.
extra
It
machine.
will go faster.
It should go faster, to tell you the
You'll
truth.
have more
Yeah.
electronic poll books there, because you're gonna be able to remove 10 precincts out and move them over to these vote centers. And you can process more people in on the electronic poll books, and if you have plenty of those stands for them to go fill out their paper ballot, then it's just them walking up to one of the 2 machines and scanning. So it's gonna speed your lines up.
Plus you're dealing with multiple days instead of just one day.
That'll help too. Now, these are all compliant with the new KRS restructuring voting
Absolutely.
statutes and
We're
everything.
certified in the state and federal level, and the federal level, just to let you know, on voting guidelines, there's the latest level is VSG 2005 certification. We are actually VVSG, and that extra V is voluntary, and the voluntary is this plain English. We got with the American Institute of Graphics Artists and had democracy, templates for democracy, give us the guidelines for building the ballot layouts that everybody likes. So
And are
building,
accustomed to.
right, building brand new equipment from the ground up, you get to do stuff like that. It's hard to go back to old equipment and recertify it and make it look like this.
And these are 100% paper ballot,
Absolutely.
If it's gonna be a recount, say, the vote was so close, it's gonna be a recount, how long will it take to do the recount?
The recounts are, it's set by the judge of the county. So the judge tells us how to do the recount. But if it gets to the point where it actually recounted, they'll get a committee put together, usually 3 on a panel. And the ballots come out and they look at them.
Every individual ballot?
Yes.
On a recount, not
On
a
a recount.
recanvass.
No, I'm talking about a recount.
Yeah.
Recount, they have to look at each individual
My God,
ballot.
that'd take days, wouldn't it?
It could,
Well,
it was like the last election.
Now, the one thing about this machine where Ross showed you, it prints the actual candidates. So let's just say, for example, I was a sheriff, I'll just say that, and that was the recount in that particular race. On those ballots right there, that's the only race you're looking for is sheriff right there, and then you've got the paper ballot. So if you're looking for John Smith or Jane Doe, whatever name is, they would do a tick mark immediately instead of having an old electronic machine where you're going through a tape and looking at it. And then you've got these pre-printed ballots that most of the voters do, and they would only go to that race and do that. So it does take some time in a recount because as many as we've sat through and gone through with paper, but it's a lot easier to go through when you've got that right there and you're not looking at everything on there. Because usually it's just one race in a recount, so to speak.
Do all 30 units come back in to the clerk's office to ease the total collection of all the votes?
On election night?
Yes.
no, there's a, I don't have it, well, I do.
The machine didn't come back with the tape.
Inside this,
I was wondering if electronically, everything came back in and printed one sheet for our clerk.
there's a drive in here, it looks like a little thumb drive. The poll worker, at the end of the night when we're closing down, will break a seal off here, unlock this, pull that V drive out.
So that's no
what
change,
contains your
right?
Which is what they do now, yeah,
Yeah.
just on
And
the
they'll
side.
bring that back and she'll read those and that's how you get your
Gotcha.
vote count.
The total, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
A couple more things on the tub, if you'll notice, they set shorter now. The federal requirements now say it has to be this level for people, and it makes sense. If you're in a wheelchair, they can reach it and they can see the screen. The old ones used to set up here. Person in a wheelchair could never see that screen.
No, I feel better.
And the other thing is, if we ever had a machine to fail, we used to have to break the seal in the front and reach in and remove it. Now we have what's called a technician door back here. All we have to do is unlock it, can reach in, remove this from that door, and never get or see the ballots, which the perception for the public is huge on that.
Who's authorized to do that?
Only certified technicians.
So we'd have to call somebody in.
Well, we would have someone here.
on election
Trained on site.
We've always had somebody on
And-
Harp on election day.
And these numbers include spares, I take it.
Absolutely.
They include
Yes.
spares.
Yes,
Yes.
we went through
Now-
it very accurately, and I got a list over here, but it includes you 4 spares, and then you're having the 2 machines at each location.
You're right.
So you're covered very well. You reduced, the original quote on this was $342,000 at 30 precincts. By you all going to super centers, it took it to, I think it's 190.
190.
190. Yeah.
Which is a little bit up from when we met before, but that was an estimated, and we didn't have all of the spares listed.
Yeah.
So this is a more thorough,
Well, it's at 190 if they take the old voting machines, right? It's 187 if they don't.
Yes, and I'll go through that real
Oh,
quick
yeah,
with you,
yeah.
because she asked me.
we want them to take them.
There's, when we take them, we'll come over, pick everything up. We have to take things apart in there for it to be properly destroyed. And then a semi truck comes and picks all that up after we go in and remove certain things that they won't destroy, batteries and what have you. They'll put it on a truck, they take it to Columbus and they put it through a car shredder, shreds it. There's no value to this old equipment. We can't sell it, resell it, use it. Or if you all want to take that upon yourselves and do it, but we've got a very, we make.
It's not something we do all the time, so I don't know.
What about some poor counties that are worse shape than we are, that have older machines than we have?
Everybody has the same age of machines.
You're telling me all over the state of Kentucky, they have the same age machines?
2005.
Those machines are 16 years
2005
old.
was when you bought your E-Slate equipment. Everybody bought then, because HAVA dollars paid for it. And then HAVA dollars came back in and paid for the scanners, and those were 2008 timeframe, so they're all the same age across
Same
those
age.
states. They're not going to be going forward,
Yes.
because now the
Oh,
counties
yeah.
are having to purchase those equipment now.
Yeah.
I always try to look as far-ranging as we can on anything that might have had value. Are there not third-world countries that might use the 20-year-old machines?
Well, it's not that, they have to do them in different languages, and they're not set up to do different languages.
And there's no conversion that's easy.
No.
Too old. Warranty, life expectancy of the new machines?
Warranty is 1 year from the date you get, is that what you had on that? 1 year from when we deliver them, but it would cover all of next year. So, let's say you all got them in September, I'm not gonna start the warranty until January 1, I would cover a primary and general election. 15 years life expectancy.
And that's standard across.
And the reason why there's no more grant or federal money on this, Trille, what's the
Well, I'm not sure.
story behind that? Just they haven't,
Why, but they just haven't come out with any federal funding for upgrading to the new machines.
you would think that the government would with all
You
that
would
they're
think.
giving away right now, because it's cyclic. You
Uh-huh.
said everybody in the state bought in '05 and '08.
Right, right.
It's time to
Mhm.
redo it. You
Yeah.
would think there would be some grant money out there for
You would,
it.
yeah, you would think so, but we haven't heard of anything, and I know you all would hear it first, before we would, so.
And we haven't,
There's another company, I'm sure everybody got a competition. There's another company that makes these.
Not these, no. This is Harp Intercity.
Mhm.
I know they wouldn't make Harp, but is there anything that makes
Oh,
anything compatible to it?
The closest competition here, the company that's making equipment, their newest equipment was started manufacturing in 2010, and they're still using the same equipment.
Where are these manufactured?
Austin, Texas, right here in the United States.
Good.
that's where their office is, and their manufacturing facility is in Austin.
That's right.
Texas Instruments.
All right.
Yeah.
What do we need to do? Do we need to vote on this? What do we want, sir?
What-
It's
is
about
there-
15,000 more than what we had in the budget, just for
Yeah,
everybody.
When
we,
we first met,
we budgeted, what, 175?
yeah.
And, it's more, but we can't destroy these things to the letter of the law, you guys. We can't, we gotta pay that.
Well, like I said, we didn't have the backup machines figured into that either, so that was something we thought about after the fact. And so now they've put them in and included the backup machines, which, we need.
Well, just keep this in mind too, Trille took back all of her benefits and everything, all of her salary, so this is literally a year's worth of that.
Yeah, virtually, that's what we're talking
So
about.
you need a motion to purchase these, right?
Well, we do, and before we go into that, if you don't mind, I know there's probably some other court members that are thinking some questions and wanna ask. This is not tied to Dominion for,
Right.
upfront and transparent. It's not tied to that firm, good or bad, that was in the news. The tabulations and the calculations of all the totals has the new built-in security aspects to it, or, how does that work on the internet or electronically?
It's not tied to the internet.
It's not tied to the internet at all, so.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, because our competition, both companies have been in the news for tying theirs to the internet.
Yeah.
They have built-in modems on that they can remotely access. Our company will not do that. I can assure you of
I
that.
like that.
We don't have to get bids.
Yeah, because it's over would have to get bids, but, in Kentucky, are you sole source or not?
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay. Okay.
We don't need to make a motion or approve anything though, because it's gonna be in next year's budget.
Okay.
Okay. So what do we need to do then is just put
Use a
out,
dollar figure then.
huh?
Use a dollar figure is all you really need.
Just to put it to reserve
Yeah.
and go from there.
And again, your only competitor in the United States, or for that matter, across the pond, is 10 years old.
Yes.
And then I want to also mention, Harp is served us well, and they've been here with us for years and years.
I didn't know any other name, I'll just be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
didn't
Harp has
either,
served us
Judge.
well, they are local, they can be here in minutes to repair a machine, deliver balance, whatever we need.
I'm your account rep. I live in
Yeah,
Gary County,
Ross is,
20 minutes away from here.
yeah,
Live where?
Gary?
Gary County.
so
I
just
rescind
keep
my
that in
motion.
mind.
Get out.
They're in
He can get you a
Lexington.
new rep.
They're in Lexington, so they can literally be here in, you know, a moment's notice if we need something, and
Which means a lot because our competition that is in the state here, they're housed out in Nebraska.
yeah.
Omaha.
So try getting somebody
They don't
here on
have a
election
local
day.
office here.
So we need to increase the budget to 191,000, is that what? So I'll make that motion. How about that?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Master Con, seconded by
Isn't that
Master
necessary?
Ellis to increase the budget,
You're gonna approve it, you're gonna approve it.
allocation for purchase of new equipment to $191,000.
I don't
Any
think that's
discussion?
necessary, is it?
Huh?
I don't think that's necessary, is it?
Doesn't
That
hurt.
will vote to increase the budget, he's gonna take care of that.
Well, this way everybody buys into the
Okay.
knowledge of that
Alrighty.
it's being requested, so.
Surely one thing that was brought up when we started talking about some of these building super centers before was, my constituents actually vote in Jamie's neck of the woods over at First Christian. How's that gonna be separated out?
Well, we haven't actually decided where the location's gonna be
Okay,
yet.
I didn't know
What
if
we'd
that
like to do is look about moving into school.
Yeah.
Most of them are closed on election day, so it would really open it up for us to have more room. It would be handicap accessible already, we wouldn't have to do surveys and all that stuff to get things ready, but
Growing up, that's where I come
Yeah.
from, that's where it's always been.
yeah, so we'd like to go back to that, if we can find a location within each magistrate district.
So that would rule mine out.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
Christian Academy, or
Or
DCA,
DCA.
yeah.
Actually.
We
Easy
mentioned
access
it.
too.
We're thinking about right now,
Easy
Campbell
access.
Junction, Bull County High School, DCA, and then the sixth one is still up in the air.
What about RCA,
Well, RCC has served us well too, but it's gotten to the point where it's overcrowded, and we're going to go through redistricting and reapportionment next year. And I don't know what the numbers are gonna be like, but I have a feeling they're gonna increase. So, and it's 4 precincts out there is a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people.
All right, we got a motion to vote on. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor of upping to 191,000, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you
Also
all very
important, I think also important on this is that the fact that, each super center will be able to have precinct separate tallies on the machine. We know we all are very cognizant of what precinct are in our district, and that doesn't change that opportunity to see that at that level.
Correct, thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Very good demonstration.
I'm so glad they're manufactured in the States.
Yes, yes,
Brian Woodford will be next, Trille, if he's out there.
okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you for it, Judge, appreciate it very much. Brian Woodford, you're on deck.
That's right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm here to request permission to renew the contract for the Commonwealth of Kentucky Department of Corrections, SAP program. You should have a packet. You should have received.
I'll make that motion.
I'm trying to find it in my,
Big packet. Commonwealth.
oh, okay, yeah, there it is, okay. A motion made by Master Gay and seconded by Master Cohen? Yep. Okay, all right, see, I wasn't even looking, I got it right. All right, okay, questions, comments, discussions?
Yeah, Brian, on page 3, since there's a date at the bottom of reason for modification of 10/15/2020, I was first thinking that all the red was new language, but apparently it's not, because that's an old date. So is the red language new language?
The red's the new changes in it, the reasons for modification is the way I
Because
took
it
it.
says it will be effective.
Yeah, it's probably just a typo
Okay,
on their
all right.
behalf.
Okay.
These contracts really don't change a lot, but it's changing with the new money that's coming in from the stimulus package, so that's really, you know, we'll go up to $10 a day for our SAP, from 9, of course, we're making 9, and then the other money that's in there, and I'm still kind of confused on how some of that, I know we're gonna receive money for like the program we do with James Hunn, and by him having a bachelor's and soon be a master's, we actually receive more money than we would if we just had somebody with a high school level running those programs for us. So I know it's, I think it's $1,000 for a 90-day program and $600 for a 60-day and then $300 for a 30-day program.
On page 8, is number 28 at the top a new strikeout?
Yeah, this is the way I received it, so.
Okay, and then 34 and 35, I assume those are new language since there aren't dates.
Yes.
Might have to-
And, you know, and here's the thing with this contract, we really don't get any say in it. The state says, here it is, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the.
That's
yeah.
all I've got.
All right, any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
And I'll sign it and make copies and get it to Julie.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
To Missy.
Missy. And Judge, also Duane wanted to come in and talk about this on, if it was okay.
Yeah, while you're here, you're gonna talk about your portion.
But one thing before Duane comes in, I just want to compliment Mike Rogers and our EMS staff. We're very lucky to have them. We had the gentleman that came back, if you remember, a couple of years ago that took 9 people to pretty much subdue him. He came in. Well, he came back week before last, basically same condition. He actually hurt one of the Danville police officers while they were trying to effect the arrest on him. And Mike and them, they just showed up. We didn't even have to ask for them. They heard it and was there and was a tremendous help to us. So I just wanted you all to be aware that what a great EMS service we had and what a great job Mike does for us.
Next time, just call Phil, he'll come out and take care of that.
We'll do it.
Was it on tape?
Yes, it's on video, and you know, the good thing about it, we were able to manage him without hurting him or any of our staff getting hurt, and that's the big key in those things is not trying, you know, it's just we want to protect our staff, but like I say, one of the Danville officers was hurt, injured his shoulder, and so that could have been one of our guys as well. So, but I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to brag on Mike.
Is the guy a mental case, or what's his problem?
Well, he's an MMA fighter, and he apparently has some substance abuse issues, and whatever he was on, it's something new. I guess it's coming in, and I guess it's kind of comparable to FLACA, but I think there's some difference there, and it makes people crazy. And this guy's a big guy, and he knows how to fight. And but I just wanted you all to be aware of, compliment on Mike. So.
All right, appreciate it.
Did you need a motion on your preventive maintenance?
Well,
HVAC?
let's get Duane
Oh,
going
that's
here
Duane,
first.
okay.
So Duane and I are going to talk about that way if we had any questions.
That incident happened, initially it started at Walmart, like right past, after you like check out there in front of Woodford Bank, I think that's what it's called, and it's pretty bad. Took a lot of people to subdue him. He tried to disarm our officer, tried to take his gun, luckily he didn't get it out of the holster, tried to take his taser. Was charged with multiple felonies. We had a preliminary hearing last Wednesday, and the judge found probable cause for the felonies, so it's now going up to the grand jury for potential indictment. It's a very bad situation.
And due to that intense situation and the narcotics he was using, you know, he was a good candidate for excited delirium, and which it'll kill somebody that quick. So the EMS just responded, heard what was going on, didn't wait, they just come on over and did what they do, so.
All right, detention center HVAC preventive maintenance approach. We might take care of the
We
rest of it.
contacted 4 companies, we contacted the top 3 that, had already given us bids / quotes for the courthouse and the front part of the Government Services Center. Contacted them, and then we ended up contacting a 4th. So we ended up contacting 4 companies, we received 3 quotes, and you have those, I think, hopefully today in your packet. And I guess I would just recommend that you accept or consider accepting the Alpha Energy Solutions quote again. They were also the low quote for the rest of our facility. They're the same company for all of it. And the contract that they sent us on the first part, they included in there all the way up to 5 years if we choose to renew each year at the same rate. So at the end of 12 months, we'll have to decide again if we want to continue or not.
In the same for the detention center
It
fee?
will be until certain, this is the second contract, so.
If you note, if you add up TP Mechanical in 3 years, they're 62,000 versus 5 years at 51,800 with Alpha.
Yeah. TP began to add a little inflation into their price.
I make a motion, we accept the Alpha bid.
Which year?
I'd go with the 5 years.
Sure, you don't want 3, just in case we do stuff with the jail?
On the initial one that we did for the rest of Government Service Center was 1.
What do you guys, how do you guys look at it?
Well, it almost has a mutually agreed upon renewal clause in the contract.
Yeah, he's saying it'd be the same price if you,
I'll
the same
rescind
price
that
for 1
motion
year.
and make it for 1 year since it's renewable.
I think that's the wise choice, because if we do remodel or whatever we're gonna do with the jail, we're gonna be paying on the contract we're
Yeah.
not being able to utilize, so.
Yeah.
I think a year by year right now would probably be the best way to go.
I agree.
Motion's for 1 year.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Motion made for 1 year on the Alpha Energy, to accept Alpha Energy's bid, and made by Magistrate Elton, seconded by Magistrate Short. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. And Judge, one last thing, I just want to update fiscal court. We will be starting our county reentry program probably next week. So we just finalized the applications and everything. The way the process is going to work is Megan, who's with Shepherd's House, will come over. Right now, we have about 6 or 7. I think one of those is a lady. And we'll see if they're interested in participating in this program. Then we'll bring the contract or the applications back to both county attorneys and the judge, Dotson, to look at. And if they get approved, then we'll be kicking our program off. So.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, appreciate it.
Do we have, is Kathy and Amy waiting out there? Judge, these are citizens who have work to do. Can we
Sure,
move them up
sure.
to where we're?
Do it right now. Let's do it right now.
That'll help them.
Okay, just tell Rusty to be on hold out there.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say while you're in here, but yeah, no, I'll be John.
No citizen waiting, citizens waiting.
We'll get you in and out.
Yes, sir.
Presentation.
Amy's been here since 8 o'clock, so she's got something else to do, I'm sure.
It's all good.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We're on the agenda to approve 2 different things. One is the naloxone distribution, and I've been working with Chris Herring on that. And then the second part is the quick response team. And with both of those, there's certain things as an EMS provider that has been doing this for a long time. There's things that you never forget, and there's patients that you never forget. And there was I tell this story all the time, but it was a 20-ish-year-old guy that had overdosed, and he was living with his grandparents, and both his grandparents were horrified, as you would expect. And they were crying and upset. And we got him awake and talking again, and then afterward we were talking to the grandparents, and they were just like, if we just had time, if we could just get him into treatment. We're just trying to keep him alive to get him into treatment. And that always stuck with me, something that you don't forget. And so being able to have this opportunity to distribute naloxone to someone like that, that's high risk, until they could get into treatment was something that's just always stuck with me. So I'm super excited to be able to offer this to the people of Boyle County and to the patients that are at risk. So the way the distribution of Narcan will work is any patient that we see that we can see that's at risk or that may benefit from doing that, we could leave that with them with just a little bit of paperwork on our side to track the usage of the Narcan. The Narcan comes directly from the University of Kentucky, so we won't have to pay for that. Once we use them, we keep the paperwork with it, and we'll be able to hand it out. And the idea is to be able to put this Narcan where it's needed until we get there. The instructions will be to the family that, hey, you still need to call 911 because there's a good chance that you don't have enough here to fix it completely. But, one dose will wake them up enough to where they'll breathe on their own until we can get there and take care of whatever that patient needs. So I think that's the first thing on the agenda. Go ahead.
Several of us went through the program
Yes, sir.
probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In an emergency, that's expired. Would we use it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any Narcan is better than no Narcan. And so if it's expired, and they say, they just increased the expiration from 2 years to 3.
Okay.
So it does have even a longer life than what they realized.
Good. Thank you.
This is the sheet he's referring to, everyone should have one on their desk.
Yeah, the front's just an introduction to the grant that UK received, the $87 million grant, and then the back is the proposal on the quick response team, which we'll talk about that next. But
I know kids on our buses, they do carry Narcan, and we have to be trained to do that if they have an incident. But it'd be nice if our kids on our buses, I know a lot of them have to pay for this.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap, it's pretty expensive, they don't have insurance, but it'd be nice if we could implement something where they could get this.
We can actually do that through Healing Community Study. Anybody can come by the Shepherd's House, get the training on the spot, and we can distribute the medication. We have cases of it.
We need to publicize that more so the public knows that there is an avenue to do it.
We're not the only provider. Isaiah House is doing it as well. So there's
Well, a lot of people's not aware of that.
Sure, we need to.
And actually, Amy that works with me in my office, either one of us can go to a group of people in the community, whether it's an employer, a school group, whoever that may be. We're pretty good at offering this training in about 3 minutes. We can go through the training, give you a brochure, and distribute the Narcan immediately.
Do y'all ever go to the schools and talk to them about this?
I'm working with both school
Both schools,
districts right
right.
now to try to do that, and we hope to
That
add
way get
KSC
parents
and
involved
CCA.
where they can get this. Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Julie just brought up a good idea. We don't have it here at the courthouse. What do we do? Somebody has
Where do
it.
you want me to come?
Well, you need the training, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This place needs it.
Only certain people can divvy it out,
I
on
mean, you
statute.
could-
Not every, we can't just give it out, It
The
has to be-
Narcan's got instructions how to use it, but there's a safe way of doing something, so you really need the training.
Well, it's
I don't know if
like
you
the
can introduce you to the training.
AED. We need some training in it, and we need accessibility in case there is an episode that occurs on site here, or what we need to do.
We would be happy to come to the courthouse and do the training for everybody.
Okay, okay.
That is easy.
We will
Wouldn't
try
hurt
to
to have a
put
refresher.
that, yeah,
We can do it.
yeah, we'll try to put that together.
What do we need?
I had a question though. So, we talked about, you give it out to high-risk people who are susceptible to overdose. Well, we give it out to them, and they overdose, they're not going to give it to themselves, right? I mean,
Who knows it's in their pocket?
Or do you give it to the people that are around these people? I mean, I don't know, because you can give it to the high-risk people, but they're not,
Right.
and you can train them, but like I said, they're gonna be overdosing, so.
So I'll say this too, we've seen a big shift in how we educate people who are actively using. We tell people today, if you are using, use safely, go to syringe exchange, get free needles. If you're using, don't use alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, if you're using, if you're caught in active addiction, use, and then your friend will wait to make sure that you are alive, that you're living, you know, and I know that like goes against a lot of this, like we want people to be sober, we want people to, but when you're caught in it, these are the tips that we can give you. You know, be safe about it, at least. If you're gonna use, be safe.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of those tools that will save a person.
I think it's important, in the committee meeting that we had earlier today, it was said, and Amy, I think you said that there is no side effects. It can't be misused.
Right,
It can't
that's
be
so good.
abused. You can give it to a child. Nothing's gonna happen if the Narcan doesn't have something to respond to from an opioid overdose. It's not gonna hurt you physically at all.
No.
So I think that's important. Then the second part of it that we want to talk about, they're both virtually connected through this community healing communities announcement is the QRT piece. I think you want to address that real quick.
Yeah. We will need action on giving you the ability to sign that agreement with UK.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
That's the heart of what we're talking about right now.
That's for the Narcan distribution.
Yeah, that this is no cost to the county as long as the grant is fun, and Amy said there are people working full-time to get that life extended through that, for everybody's benefit. So, the motion to allow me to sign the contractual agreement with UK and the grant, has been made by Cullen and seconded by Magistrate Gay. Now we can discuss those pros and cons as it relates to this. And we don't have any, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
So this is the kind of culmination. We have the needle exchange program, and now we have, you know, a way to kind of help them if something goes wrong. So it's A and B is what it is. So.
There again, this is Boyle County leading in this area as one of the grant's initial first wave 8 counties that are participating. And this is, I think the court is to be commended on, but everybody's to be commended in the process of being responsive to making Boyle County the best place not to do it, but to get help when you need it and want it.
Yeah. The next step is that we're wanting to do a pilot program with EMS to where we would hire a social worker that is completely paid for by the study. And then the quick response team is, you know, it's quick to real time, 24 to 48 hours to be able to get back out there to that patient and offer them, hey, can we get you into a treatment program? You know, what we can offer, you know, we're going to build a team of a social worker, you know, the Shepherd's House, different treatment programs to be able to go out and see if we can get people in and help them as much as we can do.
Yeah, I'll make that motion. Go ahead and put that together.
Second.
All right, motion made by Magistrate, seconded by Magistrate Gay to do
You're
the.
right, I mean, the board kind of is up here, but again, it kind of shows the top-notch thought process that we have in EMS that wants to not only be there just to, you know, not just to treat the problem, but also come back and heal the community in a lot of ways. So thank you to Mike and everyone involved.
Oh, absolutely, and I know well that Shepherd's House is chomping at the bit to be, because if you can get to them and based on some information I heard earlier, it increases the likelihood of at least entry into a recovery process if all this comes to work and works the way we know it will work. And so no, this is all good for the residents of Boyle County, in my opinion.
Judge, before we lose these professional people, I was privileged to be in Kathy's meeting yesterday, and it relates that what we are facing with employment here and what the chamber is doing. Could you speak a little bit to that, Kathy? And maybe up to the microphone. So.
Well, we had the state chamber came and spoke about their second chance initiative, which is to get people in recovery hired by employers. And we know we have Boyle County employers who are doing a good job with that. So that's another place. Boyle County's got some people that have stepped up and said, we want you to have this chance. We want to hire you. We'll work with you. But it is, as Tom did such a good job of saying in the meeting, it is a complete switch for those of us who've been in this field a long time to see people saying, we are crying for you all to work with us. We need you. We need this workforce. It is complete opposite from what I used to, when I came into this field a long time ago. People would say, don't tell us you have an addiction problem, because then we can't hire you.
And we would seek them out in my previous position and not hire them. Or if we found out they had a problem, they were off the job immediately.
So to see the state chamber saying, to see the state chamber is fighting for this. They've got all the jobs on their website. People that will hire, that are second chance employers. We will bring her back, Ashley, back to talk again. She was going to speak for us in the fall.
Judge, she was so fantastic. I think we ought to invite her to speak to the court.
And she has a story to tell herself, but she's there to represent all of this. So
she's on the road now.
Things are changing. I mean, things are changing a whole lot, I have to say.
I don't know if you guys do this or not, or if this is an opportunity, but it would be kind of nice, especially if we have a social worker on staff at this point, to maybe kind of pinpoint a few of these industries that are hiring people and kind of go in and say, hey, I'm here, do you need to talk today or something like that? You know, I don't know if it's from Shepherd's House or social worker, but you kind of go into these businesses and say, hey, we're going to have this rep here. If anybody's having problems, you need to talk to say.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And I know also to thank them for being employers who have stepped out to do this. And I know Roger does that a lot. Because it took some courage for some of our employers.
What about the negative part on that? An employer hires someone like this, and they get hurt on the job, and then you got a large lawsuit. Did you worry about that?
Yeah, and you know what Ashley did a good job of saying was, you have those folks anyway. You have those folks in your. It's better to know people and to work with them in recovery than it is to have it be quiet under the surface, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the night you have an accident.
In other words, you're saying you know who they are in advance.
Mm-hmm. And you work with them about how they use their benefits and how they go to recovery support. And, you know, we know employers in northern Kentucky who have recovery groups on site at their employment for people to go to AA like at noon. You know, that they want people so badly, and they find that it works. So it's a fascinating.
When you know about the problem,
it is not a secret. That's right.
And we're seeing that now here with our women at the women's house. They're employed, and their employers are making time for them. Hey, I have to see my therapist at 2:30. All right, you know, Joey Harris and Danielle said, here, go to this conference room. You can meet with your therapist via Zoom, and then get back to work whenever you're available. You know, and in the past, that's
kind of where I was leading with that.
So much healthier.
And those who are in recovery are on a regimen of drug testing, where that nth degree person who may or may not be tested for 2 years is a drug addict.
This is all great and very positive steps forward, but we need to vote on it. Yeah, we need to vote on it, and also realize that we still have an unemployment issue in the county that goes beyond this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anyway.
So you don't snub your nose at people who want to work.
Just to add to this, the EMS committee this morning met and discussed this, and we recommend a positive vote. We recommend the program.
And the first vote and the second vote will give us buy-in to all of the HS, the study, HCS, and the QRT and the Loxel program.
Sounds
okay.
Good.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Kathy, did you all record that?
Roger, don't be a strength around.
I won't.
I'm in. I know you are.
Busy.
Hey, congratulations
Thank you,
on
Bob.
your graduation.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our little boy's growing up.
All right, next we have the Rusty Cox out here to talk about FEMA. Rusty?
He left.
Roger's got the
I
door.
got it. I'll exercise that hit. You are up, sir.
Sir, well, thank
Supposedly, I'm hearing more about it. Could you go visit? With the jaundice eye.
All right, bring us up to speed on the FEMA resolution.
Yes, sir. This is just, we have a resolution in place. It's number 090203. However, let's see, that was dated February 3rd, 2009. However, Kentucky Emergency Management has requested that we update it and renew it, so to speak. So, I sent in the old one. They said, nope, need to have this redone. Did everybody get a copy of it?
Is this the current updated version that we have it?
Yes, I filled that out. I don't know if it's, I filled it out according to the way the lady from Kentucky Emergency Management said to. I'm not for sure. But they just, that's all it is. They just want a newer, updated resolution authorizing Boyle County to interact with FEMA. That's all it is.
Okay. Motion made by Magic Cullen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Magic Short. Discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Now give us an update on everything else that we're doing. With
I am turning in our damage assessment for the ice storm today. On Thursday morning at 8:30, I will be out at the road department with Duane and Angie, and we'll be on the phone with the FEMA representative. Given we're very early on in the process, but rolling right along. So we want to get this, even if we get it done pretty quick. They said you can't expect any money till September or October, but we want to get it done, get it in and get it done.
What about on the pandemic?
Keegan got a call yesterday on that. I emailed the fellow later and I said that right now is a little more on hold till we get this one going. That one is still a ongoing disaster, so to speak. It's not even going to close out. Whereas this one's closed out.
The ice storm.
The event's closed.
Yeah.
Closed out. The pandemic, they're talking about going another 2 or 3 years with that. So once we get this one done, we'll get back on that horse, get that one done, and get them both taken care of.
Okay. We didn't have any play in the flooding piece, did we?
No, we didn't get declared anything there. All of it's always dependent on the governor and the president declaring this area a disaster. So,
does anybody have any questions of Rusty while he's here?
What I'll do is I'll pick that up whenever it's all signed and everything,
Okay.
and I will email a copy to them, and that'll be step number 2
All
or
right.
3, 4.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
All right, let's see. Send in Duane.
Let me know on that, Rusty.
Yes, sir.
Waiting for him to finish, waiting for him to finish. Okay, back again.
Back again.
First item is the first reading, I guess, of the repeal of ordinance, our current ordinance for road guidelines, road acceptance. Do you need that number?
I've got it.
Okay.
It's 620.21. It's an ordinance repealing ordinance number 620. Do you want me to read it, or you can?
Whatever you need to do.
We're just basically, I don't have to read it. It's just we have to summarize it, and we're repealing 620. So, 620.2. Yes.
Move we approve the first reading of ordinance number 620.21, repealing ordinance number 620.
Point two. Yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion made by Magic Gay and seconded by Magic Ellis. Discussion. There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. So that's the first reading.
I'll give you a quick update too. We are just about completed, Josh Morgan and myself and Steve Hunter have just about completed our review and updating of sections 5 and 6 of the subdivision regulations, which pertain to road standards and the road acceptance guidelines, those types of things, a little bit through plan and zoning.
When can we communicate to Joe Sharp about this road?
When it's officially
When it's
appealed.
after the second reading?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can,
I don't wanna forget him.
yeah.
No, that's, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
and
I'll do that.
also I
And
did research, they've changed in statute where you don't actually have to advertise a first reading or a second reading. After you pass, an ordinance, you have 30 days to advertise, so it's new information. Saves us some money.
Just spreads you out a little bit further.
County Road 8.
Alrighty. Yeah, the next thing, hopefully you have is a resolution, which, I think approves allowing the judge to sign our new county road aid agreement for the next fiscal year.
All right, motion made to approve the county road aid, municipal aid resolution for me to sign. Has been made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Short. Any comments, questions, discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimously.
I think, did we determine it's about 40,000 more than it was last year? The actual dollar figure in this agreement?
All right.
All right, we've already done the jail maintenance.
Right.
So now the last thing is just permission to advertise for bids for the long arm slope mower / boom mower.
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, motion made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Short.
And we'll get it out, we'll get the advertisements out later on this month, and of course we won't open bids till early July.
Right. Right. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay,
Big deal.
that is a big deal. That's it.
That's all I have on the agenda.
All right.
You said it, Julie.
Yes. No questions?
No questions.
You're quiet this morning.
Better get while you can.
Let me make a statement.
Oh, no, Steve.
His staff has been unbelievable on potholes and culvert repairs, 2 culvert repairs for us, and I thank and pass that on to them.
Yeah, they deserve every bit of praise they can get.
Just come up Cream Reed.
Yeah.
You get your weeds cut,
Working on those too.
you don't want to talk about
They're
it.
posting a sign out there today.
Bill's got nothing to do after 11, so.
All right, thank you. Next, Julie.
I just have a couple of things. In your packet is a set of minutes from the Human Rights Commission. Can't hear me. I'll come up there. No, I'll go back, sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, it's me.
Sorry about that. All right, in your packet is a set of minutes from the Human Rights Commission, and that is one of our committees. And I just want to point out, under old business, the first paragraph of those minutes, they specify the only types of complaints that they can address. And it's housing, public accommodations, and employment. And I just want to make you aware of that our committee, that's their function. And I don't know that I've seen that anywhere, and I thought it just might be helpful for you to know that A, you have a Human Rights Commission, and B, that's their purpose. So, a couple other things. We are going to tentatively hold June 1st open. We're going to unveil it's Kentucky's state birthday, and we're going to unveil the Governor Bevin plaque at the park. We have not set a time yet, waiting on him.
Governor's Circle.
At the Governor's Circle, what did I say? Yeah. Had a public meeting this morning for the Bluegrass Ad, the $200,000 utility forgiveness program. That will probably kick off somewhere in July or August. It is to give relief on gas, water, and sewer bills for the public, and the priority is the 51% threshold for low and moderate income, so.
Also electric or not?
Electric, gas, and water sewer, yeah. Couple upcoming things just to make. Yeah. Yeah. I will be putting forth an ordinance for you, I hope, at the next meeting about the business license program so we can get that passed. Short-term rental ordinance will be forthcoming. The judge and I had a meeting at the city yesterday with Congressman Guthrie, so I'm going to be working on a presentation packet of some needs in the county, mainly the jail, the government service center, and I'll be putting that for you, so.
But by the way, speaking of government service center, I have sent a letter requesting consideration on some Honeywell segregated property that would round out the potential to fill in a void from BCIF on Lebanon Road. Would be a great location.
Yeah, and Jody from EDP has been very helpful with that parcel, so it's looking promising at this point. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Keegan Hinkle, treasurer.
All I have is the March end of the month financials for everybody. If whoever wants one, I'll pass them out when the meeting's over. I'll give you all the quarterly report as soon as I hear back from DLG. But I got the budget wrapped up for the most part, and I appreciate your all's help through that. And I think we had good meetings and good conversation.
Good job, Mr. Kagan.
Appreciate it.
All right. I agree. Okay. District reports, we'll start with Tom Ellis.
Thank you, Judge. First of all, everyone be aware that on Friday evening, Alyssa Ray is going to have a free concert out at the showroom on the grounds, so that bring your chairs and spread out, and it will be an amazing event for our Perryville, Kentucky young lady who was in the top 10 of American Idol. Secondly, I'm most appreciative to Missy because she's helping us with the seminars. So if you're not aware of those that have come down from two of our entities, you might want to look into that. And Chris, the last thing I have, we have a very, very decrepit piece of property in my district, and folks are contacting me wanting to do something about it. It's more than an eyesore. I'm sure that it's probably infested with raccoons and everything else. What do we do to try to condemn a piece of property, or can we?
Contact Angie.
So
Start with Angie.
do we have that authority?
Angie will go out there and look at it.
Okay.
That's the first step.
Thank you.
And,
Thank
you know, if Brent has to go with her from a health and safety standpoint, then he would go also.
Thank you.
And then that bubbles up to the county attorney based on observations.
Good, thanks.
Who condemns property in our county? We don't have a fire marshal. He says he don't do it.
See, this is what I ran into as well in some discussions.
It would almost have to be done by a court action, wouldn't it, or not?
And I heard we don't have an ordinance to back that up.
I'm getting ready, in my area, a guy's gonna move in a trailer, the windows is blocked with plywood, and there's no floor in it. We done moved his RV, get his RV moved out, now he's gonna move in the other part. So how do we in the county condemn this property where they can't get in?
Well, I can work with Angie and figure that out.
Well, I mean, Angie knows about this.
There's nothing out there, there's nothing.
What about the health department, Ronnie, have you checked with them?
Nothing we can do.
Nobody wants to make the decision to tell people they can't, that it's condemned. Well, yeah, we can't do it though.
We can put through a property maintenance code, that's what I've been screaming about for
That's it.
a year, it's a property maintenance code. I got the same problem on 33.
So we've got three of us already with the
We've got a
situation.
makeshift trailer park on 33 that all of those entities you mentioned can't do a thing because there's nothing that allows them to do it. So.
But it's something we definitely want to address, because it's in every one of our counties.
I'll bet Keiko has a template on this.
The city has a property maintenance code. It's a booklet that all we have to do is sit down and go through it and figure out the things that we don't want in there as a county, because it doesn't make sense for the county to have these things. Rusty has the book, Steve Hunter has the book, Julie has a copy of the book. We just have to go through it and figure out as a county what we wanna have in there, what standards we wanna have there, and what we don't. We need to make sure we're protecting the farmers and people that live in the county with certain things, but that's where we go with this.
I make a motion that we pursue such an
We
ordinance.
already have that, we already have
We
a
don't, we
committee
got the
appointed.
cities, but we don't have our own.
No, but we have a committee appointed to review the property maintenance code, and we just need to get everybody together and start talking about it. So-
We have nobody will make that decision right now, you know, whether it's condemned or whatever.
Well,
So, I think it's a good thing we need to do.
we talked about it, we've had I think we're getting there. Doors kind of back, but nothing.
Right, okay, so we do have,
Thank
the
you,
process is in place for us to review it, and we'll move forward, okay? Jamie?
Just quick, some exciting announcements for the community and for Center. Our men's lacrosse team is hosting the first and second rounds of the NCAA
All
championship
right.
this weekend, so
There you go,
Jason
buddy.
can staff up. We're bringing
You going out
three
and get the
teams.
stick out?
3 teams into town. He usually likes for me to let him know when that's happening, so
It's
there's
nice instead of the day.
so there's his notification. And then Center also this year is hosting 2 in-person graduations, which will be Memorial Day weekend, and that's going to be the class of 20, and then the weekend before that will be the class of 21.
I did know about those.
So we're having back-to-back commencements this year to recognize and honor our graduates.
I have a request for our center spokesperson. Can we do anything, I don't think you guys have a security, like center doesn't have like a security patrol or anything like that, right?
Yeah, they do, yeah, they do.
Okay, all right, so is there anything we can do to kind of get them to stop the kids crossing Main Street throughout that stretch there, outside of the crosswalk? Because I've almost hit 3, right there by the Presbyterian Church. They let
Right.
them cross right there, and then down further. I understand that they want to just get over to the other side, but I don't know who we need to talk to about that,
Right.
but it's gonna be bad.
I'll
one of
bring
these
that
days.
up, yeah.
Or put a crosswalk or something.
They're
No,
coming,
going into the crosswalk, they have their own traffic signal.
they're coming across there and they're coming on up to the Pearl.
Right.
Yep.
With the
Yeah.
new dorm, with the new dorm
New
there.
dorm there,
They've
yeah.
done it for as long as I can ever remember.
Yeah, me too.
And it's worse during the winter when it gets
Well,
dark.
more students will get,
They're
the
harder
worse
to
it
see.
gets, yes.
And a lot of them wear black shirts and they're hard to
Right.
spot, and I've done close to the same thing that Jason just talked
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I don't know how you keep them in where they're supposed to, but they just
Yeah, I'll
decide to do
mention
it.
it.
When I took my daughter after school, we did not use a crosswalk, and the police officer was there because it was the start of the new year, and he was there. He said, "We need you guys to use the crosswalks," and so whether it's a little bit of our own policing and center, I think that'd be a good thing.
All right,
Very good.
what
That's
else
all
you
I
got? While we're on Magistrate Gay, he produced a actual written copy of his accomplishments with DLG training, that he has been approved for payment of such training. And so I would like to entertain a motion that, let's see how long this takes, Jamie, that the court will approve his being paid for his 40 hours of training.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Judge, I don't see
Look at
this
that.
on the agenda.
I know. I was thinking that was my sign, that it wasn't on the agenda.
Motion made by Magistrate Court, second by Magistrate Short. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Congratulations.
Good point, Magistrate Kay.
All right.
Give that to the treasurer.
Magistrate
Yeah,
Simmons,
yeah,
are you done, Jamie?
Sure.
Are you done?
I don't think it's in the budget.
You didn't even give it to me to approve for it.
Should have got one of that.
Magistrate Simmons?
I don't have anything except, you know, we're always proud of you kids around. I noticed and I'm sure y'all get the damn paper notice where this kid had scored a perfect score on the SAT score. His dad's a doctor and his mama's a pharmacist. I know his mama, real well. She works part-time out my drugstore, out at the Bluegrass drugstore. I thought that was real good, and I was telling and I'll have to throw this out, because I know y'all are very interested in my grandkids. My sophomore, 16-year-old, took a test a couple weeks ago, and he scored 32, so we was real proud of that. And then I told him at 36, over here, and he said, oh, that one. But anyhow, he's had a 32 on his.
That's pretty impressive, pretty impressive.
I wanna hear about that 14-year-old.
14-year-old is, since you asked, is number one, his age group in chess, and he's number 7 overall in the state of Kentucky with all age groups, playing chess.
Wow.
He started chess team at his school.
That's great. That is great. Anything else?
That's all I have, sir. Thank
That's
you
good
for
input.
allowing me to give a personal note.
Yes, sir. That's your cover.
Duane sent me a text, says he forgot to announce that the FFA will be, has a tentative date of planting on Thursday the 20th, I think is what he said, for the flowers there on Constitution Square.
So John, get your coveralls on for that day.
I'll be ready.
But what's good is they'll be in for the ceremony on the first.
And again, I'm excited that this court has decided to continue to support the local FFA. And then can we get, I guess the right thing to do is put it on the agenda for next time. Julie had done some great research regarding our CBD. I think that we should probably move with the information she found, having all of the local hotel taxes actually come into the county and then be dispersed. I believe that's the way it reads, is that all funds should be coming into the county and then be dispersed instead of being collected by CBD themselves.
So you want to put on the agenda a discussion about, to follow up on what she mentioned earlier
I
about
think
the,
that's one of those things that,
okay.
all of the, Julie's done amazing work, and I think, there's so much that's always going on. I think that's one of those things that we need.
We'll just
to
put on there and start talking about it and get.
Yep, and then kind of make that and, give it something else to do.
Let me be sure if I may, sir. We collect the funds?
You have the right to collect.
Okay, do we, who?
Right now they go to CDB.
Who sees to the funds are paid appropriately, accurately, and on time? Who's responsible for that then?
We go into the tax office. Yeah. Just like, they just do it like their normal payroll tax and everything. Right now the CDB's doing it. And when I presented all that about the CDB, one of the things is you have the right to do it if you want to do it. It's up to you.
And we'll discuss it later.
I think it's one of those things, with the discussion of the business license, and especially with our short term, that's usually where we have a problem, is with the Airbnbs, not paying. So I think the business license and being able to hold the business license, making sure they're paying all of their taxes, I think that just makes everything come full circle. So, and it also gives, the county a very good idea of how we're doing when it comes to people coming and visiting the town, or the county.
Well, it gives us a lot of data we don't currently have.
Right, right,
And a lot of information about addresses and stuff we don't have.
correct.
So, okay, what else? Okay. Brother Short,
I don't have anything.
Master Kaywood.
If you, downtown on Saturday morning, I think you'll see, as I've observed, the farmer's market is really bringing people downtown.
Yes,
We
it
should
is.
feel very good about that. It seems to be working out very well. I assume that the participants are happy with the results of their sales. But you talk about bringing people downtown and putting people over there on our property, it's great. It is really great.
I was
to see.
scratching my head on Saturday trying to figure out what came into town, because we were so busy at the shop. And come to find out, I think a lot of it was just the farmer's market.
It's an asset to the downtown, that's for sure, and we should all be proud of it. I want to compliment the Mike Wilder Day and what a success I think it was, and those who participated and helped put it together. Thank you very much.
It was neat. It was really great.
It was a great moment for Mike, but it should be a great moment for the court and the employees of the court, to show that they're appreciated, that we
I think
have done.
I think Mike was really touched, Judge, by your presentation and the way that it was carried on, I really do.
Well,
I've known Mike a long time, I can tell that Mike don't show much emotion, but he got pretty emotional.
It's also good for us to be reminded of what the service that our employees give.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree.
You get somebody like Mike Lawler out there that really embodies service, you know,
And we've got many others, it's just, it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like John always says, you know, what's our story, you know, these employees are our story, and how many lives they touch, and they do it, in a lot of ways, next to nothing.
Really.
So,
Okay, thank you for that. I really don't have anything. We're going to get a presentation at the court's request from Bill Nichols, in the room with us on Civic Plus presentations. I got a little snapshot from him, and it sounds, I want the court to hear it because it sounds absolutely amazing, moving us out of the Flintstones into the Jetson era, and the potential is there for a lot of enhanced community outreach and the ability to be very responsive to our constituents out there, regardless of what it's about from an informational standpoint. So, Bill, if you don't mind, I'm gonna let you drive for a little bit and bring us up to speed on Civic Plus.
Judge, before we start with that,
Yeah.
could I have just a moment?
Sure.
At the last meeting, I brought up the incident of the 15th. And when will that story, the other side of the story get to be told? The investigation is still going on. The Keiko's attorney has been consulted. His comment is for us to give no comment. My point is, this isn't just going away, I don't think. We have advised counsel. I want our employees to know that we want to protect them and will protect them. And any serious incidents such as we had on the 15th will not disappear. They will be carried out, investigation, and that is a process because this was a serious incident. And we have witnesses that are putting together notes and comments, and will be, Personnel Committee has this on their agenda.
Judge, I want to interrupt one more time, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'm always giving my friend Magistrate Cullen a hard time. I'd like y'all to look out at his attire today. Isn't he sharp? So impressive. Look at him.
Ooh,
Black
yeah.
shirt, khakis.
Yeah, yeah.
Gone to Walmart.
I'm ashamed I didn't shave completely today.
Well, you
so
would have looked a lot better. I'll admit that.
I appreciate it.
All right. Does anybody else have anything?
We gotta set a date
Sorry,
in our
Judge.
suits so we can take our picture.
We do need to do that. We're 2 years plus into this court. Gentlemen, we need to take a picture for history, posterity. So, give me a date, give me a date when everybody can be here.
Yeah, next court date.
Next court date on the 27th.
Dress
Thank-
code.
Send,
20
have
25th.
our
Dress code.
friend,
Dress code.
Missy send that out, or Julie one email or text us one and to remind us.
I call it, Bill.
I like the dark suit, either a navy blue or a black suit, cause it shows up against the walls if we do it in here. And we have the camera capability, we can reach out for Donnie, but, you know, we have the capability to do it,
Just somebody that's good with dealing with a lot of reflections, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Right together, yeah. Judge, would, since he made that smart remark, Jamie would like to request no facial hairs for anyone.
So we'll do it on the 25th, we'll just plan to do it that day. And, right here. So if you have it, a dark suit.
Okay? How long you want?
Everybody wear a red tie.
Better wear a red tie.
You want a tie?
You don't
Yeah,
have one,
pretty good
just call
idea.
me.
That would be a good
I'll bring you
idea.
tie. I got plenty of them.
Dark suit and red tie, white shirt.
And Missy will send out a reminder email for everybody.
We'll all look alike.
All right, so we got that set for the 25th. Okay, Bill.
You want me in a suit, I might have to, might have to be a little.
All right, Bill, moving right along.
All right, gentlemen, for those that wish to stay at 11 o'clock, the representative that put this proposal together for me from Civic Plus will be available on a Zoom call, and he can get a little more detailed about what we're looking at. I was pretty close on the price of a site such as this. There is a full listing on the final page of what their estimate is to do this. One of the things that that Civic Plus, or as the program that we're looking at, the Civic Engage, brings to us is the ability for the constituents of this county to get involved with the website. It allows them to create a login. They can be notified of particular type of events they want to be notified of, or news articles or things like that. The site also offers very much a intranet for our county, with our employees being able to have a side of the website that the public would not see, but they could get county announcements or county information that they need to get on a regular basis. One of the other things that this site will also do, it can incorporate the web payments that we're looking for. It has a very nice back end that makes it easy to manage, which for somebody like me, when you're a one-man shop, that's a good thing to have. The credit card processing features are on page 7. But it's a very robust program, and it's a very in-depth and long process to get it up and running. It will roughly take about 3 to 4 months from beginning to end, from the time we would initiate this program or this project and have it up to full-blown site. One of the things that I asked Civic Plus about was, and one of the things that I've been trying to do and figure out how to do is, one of the things that we really need to do is to go from .com to .gov. There are a lot of places in our public schools and stuff that won't even, that's one of the things they teach the most, that a most trusted site out there that you can go to is a .gov site. But there are certain things that you have to adhere to be able to get that listing. And Civic Plus will help us do that as well. And they'll help us get the .gov. Well, okay, why .gov is available. It is a little more expensive than just a .com, but I think it would be well worth it for us to make that move in with this as well.
Can we lock that in so that nobody grabs it before we do something?
We can, but there are, like I said, there are. It's not something that Jason Cullen can go out there and say, hey, I want .gov, da da da. They go through a whole stringent of, you have to be able to do certain things with your website. You have to guarantee certain securities, certain things like that, and then it's another $400 a year. It's not $25 like most websites are a year. It's a substantial, what I feel is a substantial for a website amount of money.
Will this include an app as well, or is it just a website?
No, it's pretty much, they integrate their website into any kind of mobile device that you might have.
So this would include apps that people could have on their phone to be able to get to the same services?
What would happen is the website will adapt to the apparatus that your either phone, or if it's a tablet or whatever. It's very, very versatile in what it goes with.
But you can't download an app. There is no app.
Not really. You would go to the website and it would come up on your phone in a different manner than it would on your computer.
What do they call them? Web apps, I think it is. It's where it's like a website that you go to instead of actually downloading apps. I mean, I looked into it for my stores, and I could have had an app, but it's easier for people to just go to a website, and that way their phones aren't loaded with unused.
Right, and I tend to agree with that. I've noticed what somebody, I can't remember what it was, that had an app for their website, and I found it more convenient just to go to the website, especially if the website will adapt to whether it's a phone, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a 65-inch screen.
the website will adapt to it so that it's easy to navigate and easy to get through it.
So this would be them designing our website, because I know Tom and I and Court talked about.
I had a long discussion with them about that. They are very encouraged by including the graphic input. As a matter of fact, if you'll notice on the page that has the Boyle County to-do list, one of the things that they mention are the logos, and I think it's towards the end. Boyle County's role is on page 11. One of the big things is gathering the photos and the logos we want to use on this page, and I think that, and how we want those to be incorporated into the design, which I think Boyle County would hopefully have a large participation in.
It'd be nice to also encourage, through our Facebook page, like, hey, we're looking for pictures of Boyle County, send us your picture.
Absolutely,
Kind of thing would be
absolutely.
great. Yeah, 250 minutes.
But I think that would help us gather information and stuff like that that we need.
But this doesn't preclude the process of using the school to develop.
Absolutely not. I think that they would, Civic Plus seems to be very community oriented, and they'd be very pro having people from the community help us put this together.
Okay. All right, so are we moving on this yet, or?
Well, what I would like to do, I guess, basically is Civic Plus, with all the things that they offer, there's a lot of government entities out there that do use them as sole source, simply because it's difficult to find a company that can offer the flexibility of an intranet and an internet site, the ability to pay, the ability for the county constituents to log in and kind of not really design their own website, but certainly get certain notifications through the email that they want to get, or things that they want to see on the site. And also the intranet, I think, which is going to be very good for us. And I've already talked to Ring Central and Civic Plus. There may be ways to use APIs for the intranet to incorporate those two features together to where it would really start bringing us full circle on a 21st century communication tool.
Am I correct that the account exec is of our Bertram family here?
That I don't know, Tom. I'm sorry.
Front page, bottom corner, left.
I'm not sure.
785 area.
I understand, but that's out of the corporate in Kansas.
I don't recognize him as one of the.
I guess one of the only thing that we really need to maybe take a look at to think about, and again, obviously we can try to find other sources that might be able to reproduce this type of stuff. They were even willing to give me suggestions of people that I could call that might come close. But he said, I'll tell you, they don't have everything. You're going to have to go to several different sources to get things pulled together to do all this. I guess the main thing I want to consider is that we have in the budget, if we do decide to move with them, that we have the money to do this.
So the point of doing this is to free up a lot of extra things that we do manually. And so while there is, it is truly an investment, because we will have to spend some money, but we'll be able to turn around and provide services and actually end up collecting, which is what we do, much better than we currently do, with less person power, I guess you could say. So
Absolutely. And I think one of the things moving forward, especially since we're looking at the possibility of collecting other taxes and revenues as well, there's all kinds of ways you can do this in here. They even have, one of the things I noticed on one of their example sites, and I believe it was, I can't remember which one it was, but they're in the process of implementing a permit collection as well. So I just really think this is a very versatile company, and they are willing to do that. Now, yes, it's a big ticket up front, but I really, when I talked to them before, I was thinking that it was going to be somewhere between, and a lot of places, if you look, you're going to get monthly prices of $800 to $1,200, depending on what kind of services they offer. If you break down that $5,000 that they're looking for yearly on starting with year 2, that's a little over $300 a month. That's pretty cheap for what we're going to be able to offer once we get it set up. The
big issue here is the setup fee. Or not
So-
issue,
Yeah,
but the expense.
So, do we need to put this out for bid though, correct?
We can. Several, like I said, several government entities have gone with sole source simply because of all the features that they offer. But like I said, he offered up a couple of names that I can get some bids and try to at least get some comparisons so that we can see. But
Bill, can you go to page 7?
yes, ma'am.
I think Keegan probably has. They offer credit card processing, and it sounds like that they would encourage us to use their service. Did you talk about that with them at all?
Not in any great detail, and I think the reason that they would encourage you to use the service is because of the way it integrates with the site, plus the fact that if they have a very high security standard as well that they have to adhere to when they're dealing with government entities, and they try to adhere to that as well as anybody does.
It looks like you can use your own provider, but it might cost us a little more. I just would like to know, do they collect a transaction fee? And then if we use somebody outside, they would charge a transaction fee? Would we, I think that's something.
That would be a good Civic Plus question that, if we're all still around here at 11, if you wanted to ask them, or I'll certainly, when I'm on the Zoom meeting with him, I will pose that question to him as well.
So, I guess, what's our next step? Because I felt this way about the Harp thing as well to a certain degree. It's kind of like we're almost telling their, I guess that's part of the process, but if we put this as a placeholder in the budget, we're kind of setting the mark for other bidders. And they're kind of already disclosing their bid, if you will. And I guess are we?
I mean, after talking with is it Jacob or Jason? Jacob. I guess to put it mildly, he's not afraid of the competition. I just want to be sure that, when we sit down and look at this, if we're looking at other companies, that we are able to include all the things that these people are including. So when we're taking a look, we're going to have to look at, okay, you can offer this much of it. Now we got to go find this part of it. Got to go find this part of it, which is why a lot of counties, including actually Williamsburg, Virginia, which is a city, I know, I'm sorry, have used Civic Plus to do their city website. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that we should do our due diligence. But I think we need to be prepared if we're going to, move forward with this, that we're probably looking at this kind of money to get it started and cranked up. I think that once we get past that hurdle, we're going to have an awesome way to communicate with the county for not very much money. And it would be a very proactive way of, a lot of times I know for anything that we do in the county, we've got to give public notice. Well, boys and ladies, if everybody's logged into this account and they want to know about what's going on, they'll get notification in their emails. So, I mean, it makes the website more attractive to those that want current information. And with any website, that's what you got to do. You got to keep it current. You got to keep it moving.
What about your budget line? Do we have?
We've talked about this as being included in there, and so I don't know, we need to list the price, but I would move that we authorize you to start the request for bid
I
process.
second that, or either.
Okay.
I don't think we can take action today, can we, Judge?
What's that?
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Okay, all right.
It is on
My
the
only
agenda.
action today is to maybe start looking for bids, but also to make sure that, because I know the budget process is coming to a close, I just want to be sure that, come July 1, if we say, okay, even if it's not Civic Plus, it's XYZ web development company, wants $25,000 to develop this site, that we have it in the budget. We don't have to go back and, Keegan, that's all he needs is to try to amend the budget he works hard on, That's my only request of this thing, is to, one, be able to start looking for people, and two, to make sure that we have funds in place that if we really want to move forward with this, we're able to.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds so comprehensive in the specs that you're aware of that it would be very hard for a competitor to match those, right?
In my opinion, I think so, but I'm surely I'm gonna call some of the people he's recommended. I'm gonna see what people have to offer. Because one of the things at the very last page of this document that was intriguing to me when it was all set down and below the prices was the right to negotiate. They stated right on there that, you know, both parties are going to negotiate about this thing. So as we're looking, as we're going and whatever, you know, we may come back and say, hey, we did find a company that does most everything that you do, but they're coming in around, you know, 25. What you got? Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're firm believers in the capitalism, I guess, for lack of a better term, but they do their job very well. They do their job very well.
I think where we are today, since we got one more court meeting this month, if we give him 2 weeks to go out and secure bids or considerations with the specifications that are like-minded throughout and bring those back to us on the 25th, I think that's kind of where we are for consideration purposes. Okay.
So I would like a motion to permission to bid for a new website for this county.
I made that
Second.
Motion made by Manager Gates, second by Manager Sanders. Discussions.
So you can put like having ordinances and all that, they can scan.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, we can actually do that now. It's that long process of.
But this is gonna be more intuitive for the public to get information out to them easier than just looking at it.
One of the things that he mentioned too as well, that their analytic model will do is it will analyze how people are coming in and what they're looking for, and it will help us tell us what we need to put on the first page so that people are coming back, oh, yeah, most of the companies are going to probably say, you know, well, you know, we're going to work with you on your design. Well, all we got to really tell the company is you can work with Boyle County on helping us design.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be something, I think that whatever entity we would decide to go with, while we're kind of in the passenger seat, but it's like we have an extra steering wheel over here like a driver's ed car that say, oh, no, we want to do this or we want to do that.
I'm just trying to figure out if we're gonna pay Boyle County to design our website. If it's over a certain threshold, don't we have to bid that or not? Kinda like we did with flowers.
That's not a call that I would know how to make, but I would assume so, yes.
Administrative code.
I would hope they would do it as a community service. I don't know what the need to pay these bright young kids.
Well, we still need to advertise for that capability, and if they come out with 0, then it's 0, okay, if it, whatever.
Yeah, one of the things that, just in looking at that sheet that has Boyle County's role, it seems like there's some of those things on that list that the students could.
Absolutely. That was one of the things, I think that came from our conversation about involving the students. That's why he put out and
yeah, because that's the part that they can help
Yeah.
put some of the pieces together to hand to them to then do their magic with.
Get good experience and credit for it too.
Absolutely.
So, restate the motion, so is it inclusive of web design to include the school's consideration of doing something for the county to be able to present? I think it does.
Yeah, that's.
Okay,
yes.
everybody clear on that? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Bill, thank you so much. Now, if anybody wants to stay additional 5 minutes, there will be a Zoom opportunity to ask the individuals from Civic Engage Central, Civic Plus, questions and that they may have from reading this material in advance.
He is, well, obviously is a lot more knowledgeable of what they're capable of doing than I am. He had scheduled a 30-minute meeting for me last week when I first got to talk at and look at this, and the meeting lasted an hour and a half. So there's a lot of things to see. Not that you have to stay here for it, but I think it would be good at least to start up, so if you have any major questions about credit card processing or about constituent interactivity or how do announcements go out, it would be worthwhile. I'd second it if I could.
Motion made to adjourn, been made, seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. We stand adjourned.